I'm not sure if I thought I stopped that recording. So if you got me drinking my coffee, there's just another example of me not being perfect. Okay. So we talked about seasons. There are seasons in life. For everything, there's a season. And we're all pretty familiar with this. But let's look at this in Ecclesiastes. There is a set time for everything. Life is tough, y'all. It is. Being a Christian in today's world is challenging. Even in the U.S., we do have it better than a lot of other countries, but it has been tough. There has been a lot of things coming against Christians these past few years. We live in the culture of the instant. Everything is instant. Everything is done right away, microwave. You got a question for something, all you have to do is Google it. Ask Siri, okay, and you will get the answer to the question. You need a problem solved, Siri will do it. You need a paper written, you can go have AI do it. Everything is instant and without work, okay, and it's all done right now. But let me tell you, that is not how God works. Can he? Absolutely, but most of the time, not. He has certain times that things need to happen. He has a set time for everything to occur. So let's look at this in Ecclesiastes. Everything has its time. We're going to start here at chapter 3. I think it's the whole chapter. So to everything there is a season, a time for every purpose under heaven, a time to be born. Got a grandbaby coming, so a time to be born and a time to die. And I just lost my dad. So there are set times for those things, okay? There is a time to plant. It's almost springtime. We're going to be planting soon. But there is also a time to harvest, a time to plant, and a time to pluck up what is planted. If you pluck a plant up too soon, you're not going to reap the fruit of that plant. You have to pluck it up at the right time, okay? There is a time to kill. There is time to heal. A time to break down and a time to build up. So there's a time to break relationships. There is. There's a time that we sometimes need to separate from people and love them from a distance, and that is okay. But there's also a time to build up and to build those relationships. There is a time to weep, a time to laugh, thank goodness. There's time to mourn, a time to dance. A time to cast away stones and a time to gather stones. A time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing. A time to gain, but there is also a time to lose. And that is something in today's society we really need to purposefully teach our children how to win and how to lose. Because everyone is going to experience that in life, and we need to understand that and learn how to do so with grace. A time to keep things and a time to throw away. A time to tear, a time to sow. There is a time to keep silence, and this is the one I struggle with. I am learning to be much quieter, to listen more, and to say less. But there is also a time to speak and a time to speak up. There's a time to love, and there's even a time to hate. Now, does that mean we hate Christian brothers? No. There is a time of war. There is a time of peace. What profit has the worker from that in which he labors? I have seen the God-given task with which the sons of men are to be occupied. Travail means job, exercised through a means, bruised, afflicted, oppressed, and humbled. Okay, so labor here means travail. Okay, but God has made everything beautiful in its time. I lost my father to lung cancer just a few months ago, and while it was hard, and it was one of the hardest things I've ever had to witness, the end of that relationship that God gave us was beautiful. We did not have a great relationship in life. He was an alcoholic. He was distant. He was never there for me. But those last few years, God gave him grace. I was able to care for him, and we were able to um, come to a state of forgiveness. And I was prepared and ready to be able to say goodbye. And honestly, I look back and think what a beautiful thing it was that God allowed me to be there for him in his last days and to show him the grace of God, because he wasn't there for me. And in the natural flesh, um, I would not want to be there for them. And my siblings, in some ways, also struggled with that. They resented helping, even though he was never there for us. He didn't come to my wedding. He didn't go to my high school graduation. He did make some changes as he went through life, but not what most people have, or I say most, many people have in a relationship. But God redeemed the time, gave Dad grace, that unmerited favor. He didn't deserve it, but God loved him and gave him that grace. And he made that a beautiful time. He has put eternity in their hearts. Let me start back. He has made everything beautiful in his time. He has put eternity in their hearts, except that no one can find out the work that God does from beginning to end. We think we can predict what's going to happen, but we can't. I know that nothing is better for them than to rejoice and to do good in their lives, and also that every man should eat and drink and enjoy the good of all his labor. It is the gift of God. So it is a gift of God for us to learn to be content in all things. In all things, I have learned to be content. Okay. We should be content with the things that God has given us in our lives and learn to be happy in all situations and just know that we are fulfilling the call that He has in our life and not worry about the end results, not worry about tomorrow, just to live in the day, do good in our life, work hard, and enjoy. Okay? Because God, and sometimes things don't look this way, y'all, but He does. God shall judge the righteous, but He shall also judge the wicked. For there is a time there for every purpose and every work. So your work has a place and it has a time. You may not see it for years. I kept asking God, why am I not in ministry? I thought I was called to ministry. Why am I not in ministry? And lo and behold, I look back now and I realized I was. Okay. Now, maybe when the kids were younger, I did do a lot of other things. We did vacation Bible school. I taught Sunday school, and that was my ministry at the time. But the whole plan for my life in these days and times is totally different than what I thought it was supposed to be. But it's a good thing. Okay. There is a time for this, a purpose for this.